What is up, everyone? My name is Ryan, and you are watching Crypto Grinders. Crypto Grinders is an established channel that is focused on educating the masses, anything and everything about Bitcoin, blockchain, and how to invest in them. Okay, but now in this episode, the most important thing is you. The episode is going to encompass around how to achieve financial freedom for your future self. Now, I think you probably watched this particular episode that kind of led you to this episode. And I think in the previous episode, I was giving a very brief overview about achieving financial freedom and why most people will not achieve financial freedom. But in this episode, if you have been struggling with student loans, if you've been struggling with a huge mortgage or a mortgage on your home, if you have been struggling with credit card debt, perhaps this particular episode is for you. So I have managed to achieve financial freedom before I hit 40. Now, I didn't want to put an age to it because I don't want to exclude anybody, because as you grow older or as you go into the workforce, you will experience varying changes in your life, right? Sometimes we come into certain circumstances that put us in a financial situation or put us in debt. Now, most people, right, they get into debt because of their student loan, right? And then when they own a home, or when they want to own a home, that's when they get a mortgage, right? Which is very normal. And they get a mortgage, they come together because they want to have a family, or they just want to have a nice home. And that's going to be another addition to the existing debt that they have. So usually that happens a few years down the road, after they graduate, after they've worked for some time, and of course they either meet that special someone, and that's why they want to have a house. I mean, honestly, if you were someone who is younger, look, when you're still young, right, you pretty much can rent while you're still working. You don't really need to own a house, right? I mean, why would you need a house if you are only by yourself, or you are having two people? You can always just rent a small apartment that is a one bedroom, with a nice living room, and live in a kind of a loft or something like that. I think that is already more than sufficient. Okay, but most people, right, will get a mortgage only much later because they intend to settle down and have a family. It's very, very normal, because you can't like have a small place. It's actually very frustrating, and I understand, right? Because in Singapore, homes are really small, and you really want to have as much space, or at least as much practical space as possible. So I get that. Okay, and the good thing is that in most countries there's a lot of land, but it's very dependent. The housing prices are very situational. So this is kind of like where it's at for most people. So I understand that, hey, owning a property, let's say for example, if you were to earn anywhere from a 50,000 US dollars to about 100,000 US dollars, you wouldn't mind owning a home that is around 100,000 to maybe even 300,000. You kind of think that that's all right, okay? And obviously, depending on where you are staying and where do you work, you kind of have to put all these things together, because you don't want to be living too far away, and then it's going to take a huge amount of time getting prepared and commuting to and from work, right? And that is kind of like the common situation for everybody across the world. Okay, everybody across the world usually experiences the same thing, right? The closer you are to the city, right, the more expensive it is. The farther away you are from the city, obviously housing prices drop dramatically. You can have a bigger place, and at the same time you enjoy that space, that comfort of your home, but you have to spend a lot of time commuting. So all these things are factors that will affect us in terms of the way we make decisions financially as well. Now, the third thing that I want to address is credit card debt. Credit card debt is something that is very, very personal. You think that it's not personal, but actually it's very personal. There are a lot of people that subconsciously, right, because they know that, okay, I have this amount of credit on my cards at the moment, right? We all are able to apply for credit cards the moment we have a credit score or the moment we start working, okay? And then from then, this is the part where it gets really, really dangerous because it kind of snowballs, and it's a very unique situation that I've been observing for many, many years. And I've always asked my friends, like the ones who are a little bit closer and they're more comfortable to share, I said, how did you get this huge credit card debt, if you don't mind me asking? And so they share with me that, oh, okay, so it all started with a simple purchase, right? And with that simple purchase, some of them didn't know, okay, that they could pay, they didn't know that they had to pay the full amount by the end of the month, okay? So what happens is that when you look at your credit card statement, it says there you can pay the minimum of an X amount. It can be $50, it can be $10 on the total bill. Now this part is really misleading. It's not misleading, but it is also true. And when people read that, they will see, oh, okay, because it's just beside the total amount. But then it says I can pay the minimum. So obviously an individual, right, would think, oh, okay, since I can pay the minimum, I might as well pay the minimum. But what most people don't realize is that when you allow the balance to snowball to the next month, that's going to be charged an interest, okay? You're not going to be given a bad credit score, but that's going to snowball to the next month. And then the next month, you will see another new minimum amount, and then you would think, oh, okay, I'll just pay the minimum. And this just goes on until the amount, right, grows grows together with the interest, that you realize, oh my goodness, this is actually how much I actually owe the bank. You see, it's a very common thing, right? So with all these things that are happening, and I'm not entirely sure where you are at, okay? But I'm going to be talking about how to solve all these problems, okay? How to solve all these problems one at a time. And I hope that after this episode, right, you're going to be very clear about what you need to do. Now, let's get into it. So the first plan, right, is to focus on clearing your debt if you have debt. Now, if you don't have debt, this episode is probably not for you, but it is good to stay tuned because you may have a situation where you might need to take up a loan. You might need to take up some kind of financing a facility, and it will help you. This episode will help you make a better decision for yourself or even your family. So stay tuned. Okay, so the very first thing is student loan. Now, if you have a student loan, okay, and that is the only thing that you have at the moment, you have to make sure that you are able to quickly get rid of it, because usually it may not be as much as you think. Yes, coming into it, I've heard of 30,000, 100,000, 150,000. I've even heard of student loans that are 200,000 because of the kind of degree, right, that they are graduating in. Okay, so yes, I understand. In everything all lumped together, it can be pretty crazy. So if your student loan, right, is actually relatively small and your professional job, right, can handle it, then it all boils down to just taking care of one thing: your spending pattern. It's not difficult. I'm not asking you to start with a second side gig or whatever, but it does help to have a second side a side gig so that you can quickly clear the loan faster, okay? And your spending patterns, right, have to be geared towards being able to clear the loan. You have to tell yourself that I want to clear this loan, because if I don't, the interest, right, even if it's a fixed interest that has been embedded into the monthly installment, you have to make sure that you get rid of it, because you don't want to ever be late on a payment, or you just basically forget about it, or for whatever reason, right? And then any unintentional additional interest is going to be added to it. Okay, so as a as a student graduating and coming into the workforce, it really isn't that difficult. It really isn't. Sure, you want to get a second job, it's fine. You want to create a side gig, go ahead. Right now is the best time to start, man, because when you have such a low liability, that monthly repayment is not crazy. Trust me, it is far from crazy. Of course, atop of your rental, and of course whatever essential monthly liabilities that you have as a young adult, I understand. Okay, but I think more or less your job should be able to handle it. Okay, now the next situation is the mortgage. Now this is the part where a lot of people get stuck big time for quite a number of years. This is the part where you are probably at an age where you are, on an average, late 30s to mid 30s. That's when you purchase your very, very first home. So, like I said, this is very, very personal, and I'm not here to impose on anybody, but it's good to at least get to the bottom of it and address it. So, when you are purchasing your very first home, okay, or you've already purchased your first home, and you already have this mortgage to handle, I think it's always best to have a dual income. And usually most folks, right, don't realize that, and the husband or the wife is going out there to work. Now, dual income is very, very important. Okay, I understand that everybody wants to take care of their own kids or whatnot, but dual income is definitely the way to go. Because if you want to clear off your mortgage, right, honestly, you have to quickly get as much income as possible and clear that loan, because the interest compounded on that damn thing, right, is gonna actually cost more. Your home is actually gonna cost more than you think. Okay, and this is the part where people tend to since it's a very manageable monthly, I'm not gonna care too much about it, because it's our home, and it's fine. Having a nice home, right, is really something to look forward to. Okay, it's really something to look forward to after a hard day's work. You see your kids, you see the missus, you have a nice dinner, you watch some TV. I get it, and you have to have a nice home. Everybody needs to have a shelter over their head. And the good thing is, if you manage to clear that loan, okay, you are going to be able to enjoy, right, more free up cash for other stuff, right? Family activities like holidays, going to theme parks, going to nice restaurants more often. All these things. Your kids can go to better education, educational institutions. Extracurriculum activities. I know the whole shebang, guys. I have 2 kids myself, all right? And that is what we want. So this is the stage where you have to plan. Now, this part is going to be quite painful. So listen up, because everyone is in the comfort zone. This zone is one of the most dangerous zones to be in, because you think that, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. I don't have to listen to this, because at the end of the day, my job is really pulling in a comfy salary. The mortgage is fine. I've got 2 cars. I've got a little bit of credit card debt, but more or less, all in all, we seem fine. But my next question to you is, if you don't settle this, or have a plan on clearing your mortgage, okay, what happens is that as you grow older, your liabilities actually pile up. And it's a very subconscious thing, because we all want more for ourselves. And if you want more for yourself, ask yourself this: is your current job giving you the raise very, very regularly? Because Maybe you're someone who is a high flyer. Maybe you're just doing the right things in your job. Okay. So if you are, then good for you. Okay, good for you, because you have been making the right decisions. You've been value adding to the company. You've been hitting and over delivering on your KPI, and you've been getting that 10-15% pay raise every year. Okay, then you're doing well for yourself. Okay, but still, let me give you a quick reality check. When you're doing well in life, you tend to keep up with the lifestyle as well, and you tend to start spending more, because people around you will start saying, good job, Dave, you're working really hard at the moment, you deserve that promotion, you're now moving up the corporate ladder. And after a while, you think to yourself, maybe I should start getting a bigger home, maybe I should start driving a nicer car. My kids definitely cannot be going to the school that they're currently going to. All these things start to kick in, because you feel great, and there's nothing wrong about feeling good about that. But most folks are not in that situation. They probably haven't had a raise in a couple of years. They are not recognized for the work that they're doing. They are being continuously stressed out by their supervisors and or boss or whatever. And no matter how much work they do, right, no matter what they try to achieve, their pay is stagnant. And they are going home, and every month they're living on paycheck to paycheck, and they're not able to solve the financial debt cycle that they're in. So now I'm gonna really give the hammer on this one. Okay. For now, although I don't believe in tightening to the point where we break mentally, but I do believe that we need to tighten our belt first so that we can achieve that financial freedom for our future self later. Okay? So this is how you're going to do it. If you're in that situation, okay, and your salary has been stagnant, it is only good enough to clear the debt. You have to be able to do that, and you have to cut down on various types of expenses first. Now, I hate cutting down on expenses, because when we cut down on expenses, we feel bad, we feel frustrated, we need to have a break. Okay, we need to have a break. But start investing on whatever you have left in certain books. Now, I'm going to give you a few books that you can go and read, okay, that is going to help you, okay? And this book is called FU Money. Now, FU Money, okay, is basically a book by Dan Lok. And he teaches people on how to get the FU money so that you can eventually pay off your debt. You can have the FU money to do whatever you want in terms of financial, whatever you want in terms of, if you want to go for a holiday, you can go for a holiday. If you want to buy something nice for yourself or your family or friends, you can do that. You want to go for a posh restaurant every week to every other week, that's up to you, and you don't have to even flinch or blink. That is the power of FU money. And it's a very simple book, okay? It's a very, very simple book. I'm not even asking you to start a business yet. Now, starting a business is always a little bit of a challenge, because you may not have the skill sets on how to even market yourself, or you do not have the skill sets to even start your own business at the moment. So if you're someone who is starting out, you want to start out your own business, I highly recommend a book by Gary Vaynerchuk that's called Crushing It. And he basically just drafts out everything that you need to do to start a home-based business or very simple business for yourself. I don't have the book right now with me, but it's called Crushing It. You can go and get it like practically on Amazon. I think it's on 50% discount at the moment. Just go and get it, right? It's cheap. You can have it's an audiobook. It's available on audiobook, or you can just order it on Amazon. Okay, just get that. Crushing It. He has 3 books, but I'm asking you just to get 1 book, and that costs like I think $14. Okay, it's cheap. Okay, it's cheap. So start investing in yourself, okay? This is one thing that a lot of people fail to do, is to invest in themselves. When they don't invest in themselves, right, they lack the knowledge on what's available to do, okay? They just lack that knowledge. And when you lack the knowledge to build a business and generate more income, you're gonna be stuck. And you realize that, wow, you have multiple streams of debt, but you don't have multiple streams of income, right? Your only sole source of income is your job. Have you ever thought about the reality when the global financial crisis hits, and actually why I'm even starting this series that it's outside of cryptocurrency? Because I realized that it has been 10 years. And if the global financial crisis hits us hard, and if we or you are one of those unlucky individuals that loses your job, what happens to your cushy lifestyle then? What happens? Everything falls down like a stack of cards, right? And you can be in this stage and you don't even realize it. Okay? So right now I'm only asking you to read 2 books. And from then, I just want you guys to start having ideas, okay? I don't even want you to just start. I want you to start having ideas, and then in my next episode, right, you have to start, guys, because I created an episode about don't be afraid to start that is in my bedroom to boardroom series, and if you haven't caught it, you can catch it here, and then it's either here or here, and you can actually focus on just starting a business from scratch, starting a business from home. It can be something that you can do after work. It can be something that you can do over the weekend. But you have to start, guys. You have to start. You have to stop thinking that your life is great, it's comfortable. It's not, because at the end of the day, if you have debt, you're always going to be a slave to debt. It's simple as that. It's simple as that. And when you don't have enough for yourself, that's when you realize, wow, I've been really kidding myself all this time. Okay? So I hope that this episode has been of value to you. I just want you to make sure that you start as soon as possible. Okay? The links are in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a like, and don't forget to comment on how you plan to get out of financial debt. How are you gonna achieve your financial freedom today? I want you to comment below on how. Okay, I want you to comment on how, and not only that, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you in the next stream, guys.